हेलो एवरीवन, वेलकम टू माय चैनल। एंड आज हम लोग देखने वाले हैं कैसे हम लोग एक सिंपल नोड.जेएस एप्लीकेशन को AWS के ऊपर डिप्लॉय कर सकते हैं। सो AWS के ऊपर डिप्लॉय करने के लिए हम जो सर्विस यूज़ करने वाले हैं AWS का वो होगा अपना EC2 इंस्टेंस। सो यहाँ पे लिख देता हूँ EC2 इंस्टेंस। सो अपने नोड.जेएस एप्लीकेशन को EC2 इंस्टेंस के ऊपर डिप्लॉय करने के लिए फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल हम लोगों को एक EC2 इंस्टेंस को क्रिएट करना पड़ेगा। सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल हम लोग समझ लेते हैं कि what is the process that we will going to follow in the video, then we will do it practically, right? So first of all एक EC2 instance create कर लेते। so suppose it is our EC2 instance, right? Now these are EC2 instance, and what we going to do, we'll take our code and add into our EC2 instance, and we will run our server. So let's take another the shape over there, and I'll tell that run the server in any port as you want. So in my case it will be 8082. So our server is running on 8082, right? After all this, now what is the next thing we have to create? That we have to set up NGINX. So what is NGINX? NGINX is a reverse proxy basically. So what we'll do, we'll set up NGINX over there. Suppose this is our NGINX. Okay, let's name it. Suppose these are NGINX. Okay, no. Okay, so these are NGINX. So what we'll do, this NGINX will listen at port number 80, right? By default it is runs on port number 80. What we're going to do, so when someone requests in our server, so NGINX will listen it on port number 80, and this will transfer our traffic to port number 8082. So what will happen? So first of all, let's take this on. So what will happen when someone requests in our server? So it will listen on port number 808, port number 80. Now it will transfer the traffic into 8082 where our actual server is running, right? So this will actually transfer the traffic in 8082. So this is the setup of NGINX. Now हम लोग आप क्या करेंगे कि whenever you run a server, so you will get a random IP address like that. So let's take something like that. You will get some IP address like that, but whenever you like request in that IP address, you will get your response. Definitely you will get your response, but what do we want? We don't want the IP address like that, right? We need a custom domain, right? So we will attach our custom domain as well. So let's take a shape over there, and the domain we will going to use, let's say test dot byte innovatics. सपोज these are domain, एंड हम लोग क्या करेंगे कि इस डोमेन को बेसिकली अपने NGINX के साथ कनेक्ट कर देंगे, राइट? NGINX के साथ कनेक्ट कर देंगे। सो क्या होगा कि जब भी कोई भी ट्रैफिक test.byteinnovatics.com पे आएगा, सो इट विल be taken by the NGINX, and NGINX will finally transfer this in our server, and our server will finally give the response, and we will get the response over there only, right? So this is the process, and the next thing is that how our code will go to this EC2 instance, right? That is one part. So let's think that we have a git repository first. Let's take a git repository. Suppose this is our git repository. So we have to take this code and push into EC2 instance. So for that we're going to use something called CI/CD pipeline. So what is CI/CD pipeline? CI/CD pipeline is something like a automation stuff. So through that, when you push your code into this GitHub repository, it will automatically push your code into the EC2 instance and run some commands that actually runs your server into the system, right? So this is suppose this is a CI/CD pipeline, right? CI/CD pipeline. Now हम लोग क्या करेंगे कि यहाँ पे हम लोग एक एरो ले लेते हैं. So whenever someone push, it will be cached through the CI/CD pipeline. Now the CI/CD pipeline will run some commands and take our code into this EC2 instance, right? and whenever the code will go to the EC2 instance, it will again restart, and it will update our code, and our code will run with the latest one, right? And our server again runs on the 8082, and our server is ready with the updated code to serve the users, right? That is the diagram that we are going to follow. So before let's start, so let's go to our AWS console, right? So let's go to EC2 instance. Let's search for it. Let's go to EC2 instance. ओके, सो ये अपना EC2 इंस्टेंस. सो सबसे पहले हम लोगों को एक EC2 इंस्टेंस क्रिएट करना पड़ेगा. सो लेट्स क्रिएट अ EC2 इंस्टेंस. सो यू हैव टू क्रिएट अ लॉन्च इंस्टेंस ओवर देयर. नाउ हम यहाँ पे अपने EC2 इंस्टेंस पे कुछ भी एक नाम दे सकते हैं, जैसे कि हम लोग अपना नाम देते हैं कि जैसे टेस्ट नोड, राइट, टेस्ट नोड. एंड अब हम लोग क्या करेंगे कि यहाँ पे हम लोग उबंटू चूज कर लेते हैं. सो उबंटू इज द बेस्ट वन, सो वी कैन गो. Okay, so we have taken, let's move all this in default only. So yes, here is the part. So you can create a key value pair, so you can like access it via SSH in your local system also. So you can also skip that part as well, but let's create one as of now. Let's create one. That let's give it a name. Let's say test node SSH, right? Okay, we have created. Now this key is assigned to it. Now let's go into it. Now here you have to open the ports, like you have to just enable HTTPS and HTTP, right? All these configurations. And here in the configuration storage, you can like go for 30 GB. You can here just type 30 GB over there, so you'll get a 30 GB storage. And after all these confirmations, now let's launch our instance. Okay, so अपना EC2 इंस्टेंस क्रिएट हो चुका है. लेट्स गो एंड चेक व्हाट इज दिस. Okay, currently it is on pending stage. Okay, so let it be initiate. Till the time, let's see which repository, basically what is the code that we are going to deploy, right? So these are simple Node.js application that there is nothing. So it is very simple. So let's start the server once and let's see what is the response. This is the server. So if we go to the browser, let's go to the browser once. So it is running on 8080. So you can see this is the response 8080. So let's we have endpoints as API/users. So if I go, you can see there are some simple like JSON data it is giving. So this is the basically this is the application we are going to deploy into EC2 instance. So let's check that whether our EC2 instance is initiated or not. Let refresh. Okay, you can see it is running, right? So let's go to that. Yeah, so you can see this is the IP address, right? This is the IP address that is actually there. So this IP address actually our server will be accessible. Let's go into it. Okay, so you can see there is nothing, right? So because we have not set up anything right now, so let's set up this EC2 instance first. So let's connect into it, and we'll be going to connect it in the web only. Okay. Okay, so it is connected. Let's clear the console. And first of all हम लोग दो तीन कमांड चलेगा, सिस्टम को थोड़ा सा अपडेट कर लेंगे. sudo apt get update and okay. Okay, let's update the system. So basically till the time it is updating, so first of all हम लोगों को क्या करना पड़ेगा कि बेसिकली हम लोगों को अपना जो है इसके अंदर Node.js को पहले सेटअप करना पड़ेगा. सिंस आवर एप्लीकेशन रन्स ऑन Node.js, सो हम लोगों को सबसे पहले Node.js को इंस्टॉल करना पड़ेगा. सो लेट्स गो टू द Node.js वन. Okay, so let's go to the download one. So here, since our system is Ubuntu, let's select Linux from there, and you have to choose NVM, right? So these are the commands that you have to execute to install Node.js on EC2 instance. So you can see it is asking for the confirmation. Let's skip Y. Okay. Okay, it is installing. It is installed now. So सबसे पहले हम लोग Node.js को इंस्टॉल कर लेते हैं. So first of all हम लोगों को एक कमांड एग्जीक्यूट करना पड़ेगा. So let's run this command. Okay. So I've run. So now what I have to do? Let's just run source -rc. So if you run this command, it will update the envs. So enter. Now if you type on nvm, you can see nvm is there. Now we can install nvm install. You can type any node.js version. I am installing node.js 22, right? So we are installing node.js 22. Okay, let it be installed. Okay, yes, it is installed, right? Let's check once the node version. Okay, you can see it is 22, right? Let's update the npm once. So npm I npm npm I -g npm @let's, right? Okay, so npm also installed, right? Now we have to set up nginx. You can see in the diagram. So we have already done with the first step. So let's create nginx, right? So currently our code is not in the system. We will take a look that how we can like take our code into the system, but before that, let's set up nginx. So let's set up nginx. Let's go to our system, and you can, to set up nginx, you can follow my blog. So this is my blog, so you can go over there. Okay, you can search once. Okay, for the commands that how we going to use the nginx. So this is the first command you have to execute. So let's execute this command. Okay, so it is installed. Now for the next, we have to edit a file, right? So to set up the nginx in a better way, that how you want nginx to work, so हम लोगों को इसका जो डिफॉल्ट फाइल है उसको एडिट करना पड़ेगा बेसिकली. सो वी कैन एग्जीक्यूट दिस कमांड फॉर दैट. So let's execute it. Sudo nano, and the entire configuration file is there. So let's remove everything. Okay, let's remove everything. Just a minute. ओके ओके, सो हम लोगों ने पूरा सब कुछ क्लियर कर दिया। तो नाउ हम लोग अपना कॉन्फ़िगरेशन यहाँ पे शुरू करते हैं। तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आप लोगों को क्या करना है, बेसिकली you have to go to my blog and you can copy this thing, copy the entire command, you can paste the entire thing. So that is the commands you have to write. So first of all, as you have seen, like I have already told that our nginx is going to listen on port number 80. So I have, that's why I have written over there that it will be port number 80. You can remove this client max body also, you don't need it, you don't need it anyway, remove. Okay, now हम लोग क्या करने वाले हैं, बेसिकली ऐप पे अगर आप जाओगे तो देयर वी हैव टू गिव अ डोमेन नेम बेसिकली. So let's give a domain name. So as you can see, if I go to the diagram, so domain will be test.bytenotics.com. So I'll go here and I will write test.notics.com, right? So this is a domain. Now हम लोग क्या करने वाले हैं, ऐप पे अगर हम जाते हैं अच्छे से, so let's remove this command. So I've written proxy bus, right? So proxy bus means that whenever the traffic comes in port number 8, it will transfer the traffic into port number 8080. So basically I've added port number 8080. Let's check where our server is running. So you can see our server is also running on port number 8080. That's why I've also added port number 8080 over there. So हम लोगों ने अपना nginx का configuration डन है. So let's control O and save the file and enter. You can see now our file is saved. Okay, so एक बार अपना syntax चेक करने के लिए हम लोग चेक कर सकते हैं कि whether our configuration is correct or not. So let's nginx, let's run it sudo nginx-t. Okay, this will check and you can see it is the syntax is okay. So now we can reload the nginx, sudo nginx, let's reload. Yes, now it is running, right? Now nginx is running. So let's take that IP address, that what is the status, right? Let's go. You can see it is that time it is not giving anything, but currently it is giving that nginx stuff. So through that we can confirm that nginx is running fine. It is giving 502 bad gateway because we are not running anything on that port, right? So now the next step is that we have to take our code into this system. So our code, we can execute the code and we can run our NodeJs server into that. So our port will be listened by nginx and we will get a response from that. तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल चलते हैं अपने गिट रिपोजिटरी के ऊपर. सो पहले अपने इस पोर्ट को बेसिकली लेता हूँ. You can check the git status. So let's add all these code into the repository. Okay. Yes. So basically अपना कोड आ चुका है यहाँ पे. Let's reload it once. So this is the repository. So first of all हम लोग को बेसिकली एक गिटहब रनर सेटअप करना पड़ेगा. सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल हम चलते हैं सेटिंग के ऊपर. सेटिंग के ऊपर जाके हम लोग को करना है कि यहाँ पे एक एक्शन टैब के अंदर रनर पे जाना है और यहाँ पे हम लोग एक नया सेल्फ होस्टेड रनर क्रिएट कर लेते हैं. सो यहाँ पे हम लोग सिंस आवर सिस्टम इज रनिंग ऑन लिनक्स बेसिकली और EC2 इंस्टेंस, it is Ubuntu. So we'll choose Linux and we'll execute these commands one by one. So let's take this command and let's run it. Okay, let's run the next one. Okay, and we have to run this till this command only. We don't need to run the later commands. So we have run the second command. Let's run the third command. Okay, yes, so it is running the fourth one. And the fifth one, last one, right? Okay, you can skip the name. So you can give the name, give some name to the runner. So we can give the test node runner, text node runner. Okay, we can give the name. Rest of the thing we can like enter and skip it. So you can see the runner is added. So the runner is added. Now let's check what is the file that is coming. So this is all the files are there. So now we have taken all the files from the GitHub and we are also authenticated, but we have not run the runner till now. So to run the runner we have to run this one. So let's sudo dot sudo svc.sh. We have to just type install, right? svc. Okay, let's add a slash over there. Yeah, sorry, it will be dot slash, right? Dot slash, and you can execute. Now it is installed. Now we have to just start it. Now start it. Now it is running, right? You can see it is running, it is enabled, and put the status enabled. Now let's go here. We can reload it once. Okay, it's not go to setting and runner once. You can go to runner. You can see it is running and it is on ideal, right? And you can check over there. What is this? So it is running. Now हम लोग को अभी क्या करना पड़ेगा, तो बेसिकली हम लोगों को हम लोगों ने CI/CD पाइपलाइन सेटअप कर दिया है. सो अब हम लोग चलते हैं अपने कोड पे. सो बेसिकली हम लोग यहाँ पे एक फोल्डर क्रिएट करना पड़ेगा. जस्ट फोल्डर नेम विल बी डॉट गिटहब, राइट? देयर विल बी डॉट गिटहब. नाउ डॉट गिटहब का हम लोग को और एक फोल्डर क्रिएट करना पड़ेगा वर्कस्पेस, एंड इसके अंदर हम लोगों को करना पड़ेगा डिप्लॉय. लेट्स से deploy.yml. you can give any name but the file should be .yml format, right? सो हम लोग क्या करेंगे, अब यहाँ पे चलते अपने ब्लॉक के ऊपर चलते. सो गाइज और सारे कमांड्स आपको ब्लॉक के ऊपर मिल जाएंगे. सो बेसिकली यहाँ पे क्या डालना है, लेट्स गो टू दैट वन. या दिस you can see the caption is there. This is a node.js workflow, so you can copy the entire thing. Let's go, you can paste it, right? You can remove this part, this one also. So you can see that the push branch, so the branches I have added master. So in your case it might be main, but in my case it is master, so you can add as per your need. So whenever you push in the master branch, this workflow will trigger. This code will actually say this part only. So you can just edit it, all these things. So let's add 22, because since we have installed 22 into the EC2, you can add that node version. You can add any other thing as well. So it is installed now. That is all. Now you can push this code. So let's get a dot. Okay. Whenever you push this code, now it will be triggered the runner itself. You can check that part. Let's go. Yes, the runner is triggered. You can see it is running, and these codes, all these codes are running in our EC2 instance only. So let's wait for some time till the time it is setting up everything. Okay.
कंडीशन देखो आप, ठीक है.
ओके ठीक है ओके सो अपना कोड EC2 के ऊपर जा चुका है सो लेट्स चेक वेदर आर कोड in the EC2 instance or not. So first of all, let's check on let's ls what is the files are there. You can see there are a lot of files. So let's go to this work folder. So there the code actually comes. So let's go to cd and we can do ls. You can see this is the code, right? This is the node.js test tab, right? So let's go into it and we can cd into that part. And we again cd because it is internally or another folder over there, so with the same name let's go to and you can see the entire code is there. You can ls and la, yeah, so you can see all the code is there. There is node module also there, you can see. So why this node module is there? Because we have written npm ci, so whenever a code go into the EC2 instance, so it run the npm ci, so the node modules will be installed over there, right? So now our code is there, so we can now start our server. So let's start the server npm start, right? Let's start the server. So it is running, right? It is running on 8080. So let's check what is coming over there. We can see our server is running, right? So our nginx catched it. So if we go into the diagram, so we are requesting into that IP address, right? In this IP address, so nginx basically listening on 8080, it is transferring the traffic into 8082, correct? So this IP address should be there, I think. Yeah, it should be there, not be there. So we are just hitting here and it is transferring the traffic into 8082 and we are getting this response. So we can check that API as well. So let's go to API/users. Yeah, so you can see that JSON data also coming, right? So basically this is that is all, and let's set up the domain part. So let's set up the domain part. Let's go to that part. So currently it is running, so let's control X. Okay, let's control C. But whenever you make the control C, right, so you can see this is down, right? So you have to continuously run this server, correct? So we can install npm pm2 for that. So let's install npm i-g pm2. Okay, let's install the pm2. So to run the server with pm2 behind the scenes, so basically it runs our server background in background. So let's find the command. You can see this is the command. So you can take this pm2 is installed. So here you can go and you can give something some name. Let's say I'll give test node. I'll give test node, and so now pm2 is running. Now you can see I am out of the terminal and you can go and check your server is running, right? Okay, to set up the domain, let's take this IP address first. This is the IP address that our server is running. So let's go to route 53, or you can go any DNS resolver. Like in my case it is route 53, in your case it might be Hostinger or something, or GoDaddy or anything. So what you have to do, you just have to go to DNS management. Yeah, just a minute. Yeah, what you have to do, you can see I have already written over there. So you have to just create a record, right? A record. So you can add your subdomain in. It is written www, but you can give any subdomain. So in our case it will be test and it will be a record, right? And there is the IP address. So let's go to go into the hosted zone, and we have to, this is our domain basically. So let's create a record. So subdomain will be test, right? Since it will be test.bytanalytics.com, so it will be test. You can paste your IP address and it is a record, right? Let's create the record. Okay, now let's wait for some time to sync. Okay, now it is synced. So now if we go to API, right? So sorry, not the API. Let's test.binaries.com and enter. Let's check whether where yeah we are getting the response, right? We are, your server is running. Now let's go to API slash users, right? Okay, okay, just some minute. Okay, so you can see this is the HTTPS. It is converted into HTTPS, but we have not set up HTTPS. Let's use HTTP only. You can see it is giving the JSON data. So basically it is not secure, right? So we have to add HTTPS. So if we go to the diagram, so we have added the domain, but HTTPS not there. So we have to add HTTPS. For that we can use something called certbot to generate the SSL certificate. So all this command will find in my blog only. So let's go into it. So you can see is heading enable HTTPS. So you can run these commands one by one. Let's go and run this command. Okay, just ignore just command, just execute the commands one by one. So you can see it is continue control C. So you can enter. Yes, now next execute this one. Okay, now the third command is that. Okay, so here you have to give one thing, that you have to add your domain name, not this one. So let's add test dot innovatics, right? It is the entire domain name that we have added, right? So D, it will generate a SSL certificate for this domain only, test.byteinnovatics.com. So enter it. Just wait for some time. Okay, so you can see it is asking for new, enter the email. So let's enter our email. So let's say shop433@email.com. Okay, we have added your email. Now this part you can just type Y and enter. Now it is requesting for a certificate. Let's wait for some time. Yeah, so you can see successfully deployed the certificate, and the certificate is there. Now the certbot certificate will like expire in 90 days. So it will be like, you can see we can set an interval basically. So it will be automatically renewed, right? So we can execute this command. Go and execute it. Okay, now the SSL certificate will be renewed automatically even after 90 days, right? So it will continue to run. Now if we go and restart, you can see now the HTTPS is there, right? You can see there is no not secure thing. You can check that thing over there only. You can view the page. Yeah, so that is how this server is basically up and running. Yeah, so now it is running and it is successfully deployed. Yeah, so the final thing, that one thing that is left over there, that whenever you push our code, the code should automatically restart into the newer version, right? So you have to add one another command over there. So let's run and you have to paste one command. Let's go to my blog. You can go to this blog and you have to just add this command, right? You can add pm to restart. So let's go to it, then pm to restart. And after that, after restart, you have to give the same name that you have provided during the time of running the server into the EC2 instance. So let's go to the EC2 instance and we can type pm to logs. You can see, okay, it is logs. Just a minute. Okay. Okay, so our server is running. So I think we have given the name like test node. I think test node. Let's give the name test node. Okay, this is the name we have given. So I have saved and let's push it. Dot git command and git push. Okay. Okay, now we have added. Let's go and check. Now whenever you push, you can see that runner is again running, and we have take a job. It has take the job and it will run the updated commands. Just wait for some time. Yeah, now you can see this is restarted, right? You can see I've added the restarted command. Now it is restarted automatically, and this is the thing that is running. So how you can check that update code is there? So we can, whatever we can do, we can go into this HTML that we are sending, where in the public folder. Yeah, so you can see this server is running. So let's edit something. Let's paste. No, we can paste not server is running, and again add all this. We can hit push. Okay. Okay, the runner is again running. Okay, so it is done. So let's check whether you can see the last check where this server is running. Now whenever you reload, you can see test node server is running. So that means our code is also updated. Now the entire process is like that only. So we can, whenever you push the code, it will go to repository. The repository will finally deploy the code automatically. We don't need to do any effort from outside. So that is all about the video. If you like the video, please hit the subscribe button also and hit a like button.